Hi, welcome to Joanna's DIY Life. On this channel, I sew and do DIY home decor on a budget. This time, I'm going to be showing you how to make this easy bow maker. Now, let's get crafty. Okay, first, I'm going to take this plaque or shelf sitter or whatever you want to call it. I got it at the Dollar Tree, and this is the big one. They have these normally for every season. You can use a 2x4 or, whatever wood you want to use. This is just what I have. This is a short one. And if you don't want a spool holder on the end, you can use the short one. This one, the paper peeled off real easy. And I got this printable only available in my Facebook group, okay? I'm getting rid of my blog. So if you don't have access to my Facebook group, you won't get the printable. You'll have to make one yourself. You can also use a bigger board. This is a shelf from a CD holder, and it would work just fine and be a little wider. That's totally up to you. But anyway, I have two drill bits, okay? And this one is a normal drill bit, of course. They're the same size. But I have more accuracy with the point. I can figure out where my drilling is going to go. And I just sized it by my dowel rod. So, like I said, either one will work, whatever you're comfortable with. And it is a 3/8 drill bit, so it's a 3/8 dowel rod. You're going to have to cut your dowel rod in half, but that'll come later. So I was going to try to peel the paper off of this one like I did the other one, but it wasn't peeling. So I'm going to paint it black. I'm using the black chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree, and it takes one coat to do this entire board. So I painted the sides, the ends. I did not paint the bottom yet. I will. But I just wanted to show you that I painted everything except the bottom. Now I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to use my paper trimmer, and I am going to try to cut these as even as I can. And I'm going to line up my little edges to the edges of my ruler. This paper trimmer came from Hobby Lobby. It's the Paper Studio one. And it is not easy to cut with. In my opinion, it's a little harder than some I've had. So, but anyway, it gets the job done. Now I'm just going to take and line up my 0 and my 0. I'm just going to glue it with a glue stick. And to line it up, I have a light behind me that I use for when I'm recording. So I just put glue on this. And I hold it up where I could see through it and put my 0 on my 0 and match it up and just push it down, and that's that. Now I'm just going to take the paper and I'm going to put it on the very edge. So I'm going to fold that edge down and then stretch it across, and that's going to be where it goes. But I'm going to cut the end off to the edge of that 7 so that I don't have any excess, junk hanging around there. So all I'm going to do is take my glue stick and I'm going to put my glue on there. And then I am just going to line my paper up and stick it down. And the edge that's hanging over that one side, I'm going to glue it down to the side of the board. When that pretty much dries, I am going to take my pencil and a small ruler, and I'm going to line this up on my mat and draw a line exactly where the middle is, okay? I have to put my dowel rods in there, and I want to make sure that I have them dead center. That way, what's the point of making the ruler if you don't get the middle in the center, right? So now I'm going to put my mark where my rod's going to go for my spool holder, and it can go towards the end because your spool can hang off a little and it's not going to hurt anything. If you are going to do a bigger spool, then you're going to have to just leave it, on the table or whatever, or build you a different spool holder. This is the one I did before, and you can just write your measurements in if you want to. I have to do this over because my gaps were too big, and this is what I'm trying to avoid with this one. You want your gaps smaller to hold your ribbon more sturdy for you. So I am going to take one of the dowel rods, and I'm going to place it down, and I'm going to put it in the middle, and I'm just going to draw around that dowel rod. This is the drill bit that I'm going to use, and the reason being is because it has that point, and I can put that point right down where I can't, and that one will shift with me. This one, I never have these shift, so I'm going to use this drill bit, and I am going to drill my first hole. So I'm putting the point down in the middle, and make sure you hold your drill straight up or you'll have a sideways hole, and that is not going to be a good thing. You want these straight when you put this together. Going to make sure that the dowel rod fits in there, and then I'm going to use my hole that I already have to draw around this dowel rod to make sure that my holes weren't too close together, and you drill into the other hole or whatnot. So now I'm just going to drill my second hole, and when I get done with that, I'm going to drill the hole on the end. Now you can use decoupage, Mod Podge, or whatever and go over your paper. I wasn't going to, but in the end I did because I didn't want to, take a chance of my paper peeling up or anything like that. So there's where your roll goes, and it'll hold 2 unless it's like a really, really big one or whatever. It may hold more if they're smaller, but this is a longer rod, and I'm just going to I was going to use my Titebond. You can use any wood glue, but I just pulled out the Dollar Tree wood glue. This is not the one from the Dollar Tree. This is Super Glue wood glue, and it's really good wood glue. But I'm just going to take my longer dowel and put it in the end, and I guess you can make this as long as you want to have however many spools of ribbon that you want on there. That's totally up to you. I just didn't want a big stick hanging up, to get caught on anything. So I'm going to take my miter shears, and this was not hard to cut. I was just going slow so it didn't fling my rod across the room. So I'm just going to put the glue in the holes, not a lot, just enough to hold it steady. And then I'm going to sand my ends off because where I cut it, it's a little rough and I don't want to snag any ribbon. You never know. So I'm just going to sand them down, and then I'm going to poke them in the holes and wait for that to dry, and then we'll be done. I actually forgot I'd done this. My hole, one of them was deeper than the other, so one of my rods were shorter. So I ended up putting the short one in the front and the long one in the back, and then I'm going to clean up all my excess glue, and then we're done. This is a bow that I made with the bow maker. I will give you a tutorial on bows at a later time, but we're going to be using this in upcoming videos because it's holidays. If you like this video, leave me a thumbs up, consider subscribing to my channel, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video, because you never know what I'm going to be doing around here. Remember, you are a blessing. Goodbye.